Tadhg, been meaning to do this for a while, but anytime we were together during the summer, we were too busy playing golf.
That's true, yeah, that's true, Dave. It was good out summer.
It surely was. Goffs Orby Book 1 sale here today, and over the next couple of days then Book 2. Very busy week for Goffs.
Yeah, it's the highlight of our year. It's our busiest week of the year. It's one of them anyway. We've put together a great catalogue this year. It's a great support from vendors, and it's been a good day so far. Our trade has been good. It's been selective, but it's been good so far. And it's the start of a long week. There's some very good horses, some very nice horses still to come throughout the rest of the week. Before we Book 2 then starting Thursday and Friday. Hopefully things will continue to go well as they have done so far today.
Rewind back a bit, Tadhg, where it all started. How the hell does somebody become an auctioneer?
I don't know really where it kind of started, Davey. I suppose I was kind of always into horses, kind of grew up hunting, and I loved hunting when I was growing up. Kind of started to follow racing as I got a little bit older, kind of maybe in my early teens started to follow racing, got really into it, and I just loved it, got hooked on it completely. And then kind of when I was in school, during my TY, I just spent everywhere I could, kind of going to different places. Kind of landed on a job in TY in TRI equestrian with Philip Masterson there during TY, and did a work experience, ended up working there part time, enjoyed that, but then kind of was always kind of more into riding out. And once I kind of finished school, I started with Ross O'Sullivan. One of my housemates and friend Tom Harney kind of got me in there riding out because we were kind of involved in pony club when we were younger, and so I ended up going in there during college. Loved that, and Ross was great to work for. We'd good crack there for a few years. Spent a summer in Darrenstown. Spent a summer in America as well with Peter O'Callaghan, and kind of was always kind of interested in Goffs. Kind of started one of my friends in college. Got a job here, kind of part time. I was like, Jesus, that kind of sounds interesting. So I was like, you know what, I'll stick in a CV. Didn't know anyone in Goffs, didn't know anyone in racing really. So put in the CV, ended up Porrick, was Sean Flannery was here, and then Porrick, and they gave me an opportunity to do bloods. I think it was 7 years ago actually. This sale was probably one of the first times I started here doing blood testing, and then was soon after that was doing bid spotting. Then kind of was doing bid spotting all through college while riding out in Ross O'Sullivan's, and then also spent a summer with Andrew Kearns and Madeline Talicki as well, which was very good. So that was good as well, and I kind of always kind of was interested in Goffs. Was kind of coming towards the end of college, doing equine business in my youth. You don't really know where you want to go or what you want to do when you're kind of getting to that stage in college, and kind of was chatting to Henry, and I asked him would it be possible, and had to go through an interview process with Ronan Griffin, who had a great result today actually with his Blue Point foal. He got 560,000 for today, which is a great result for him. But he's since moved on, but he interviewed me, and I got an internship here, which was great. He gave me and I didn't really expect to get it at the time because like COVID had just happened and nobody knew what was happening. And thankfully Ronan and Goffs honoured the internship, which I didn't expect. So I started here in July, which was very strange. There was nobody here, kind of working remotely, the odd day here and there. Strange times, but look, I was very glad of the opportunity back then, and was coming to my end of my internship, and people are moving on and opportunities are coming up here, so I decided to kind of stay on a bit longer, and 4 years later here we are. So
I didn't want to stop you while you were in full flow there, but were you any good to ride, were you?
I wasn't too bad, still doing the odd bit of hunting, yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
But then the auctioneer part of it then, so obviously you've done all that, from the bottom, the groundwork to get to where you are then. You find out pretty quick enough if you're any good at auctioneering or not, I take it.
Yeah, well, like I was didn't really know where to start. Was kind of just practicing a bit. It was always kind of, when you're here kind of bid spotting, as you get kind of through it, you kind of get closer to the rostrum. And I spent a good bit of time in the rostrum, but I was always looking at watching Henry, Nick, Andrew, George, Bernard, how they auctioneered them, the different things they kind of brought, I suppose. But kind of the first probably one I was doing was charity auctions, like whether it was for a local hunt club,
yes,
GA club, just in a bar or in a charity, like in a hunt ball or whatever. Started doing bits and pieces of that, and kind of suggested to Henry and Nick that I would be interested in being an auctioneer one day. And then they said, look, we'll give you an opportunity, but you have to do a practice run first here. So downstairs during the work week, empty ring down with Nick, kind of had an old catalogue with some prices in it, and I'd try and work to those prices while he was walking around checking things, pretending to bid to me the odd time when I was just kind of rattling away. But thankfully after that I got an opportunity there 2 years ago in September in Goffs UK, and then obviously it's not easy to get a license in Ireland, so
Yeah, that's interesting, because I was surprised why I asked you the question, how come you're not doing it here but you're doing it in Doncaster, and why is that there's such a difference between a license between Ireland and the UK?
yeah, currently the way it is in England, there is no need for an auctioneering license in Ireland, in England, so kind of I don't really know what the ins and outs of it are. You can just get up and sell in the UK, but in Ireland I'm not really sure. It's obviously kind of in the last, I think it's 10-15 years, they've become very strict. So all the auctioneers here were currently here maybe 10 years ago, when before the new regulation came in, they were able to get licensed because they were already auctioneering. But then anything new is kind of, you have to have a college degree in real estate, and so that's what I had to go back and do. I had a university degree already, but I had to go back and do more college exams, and luckily enough I was able to get on a good course, which took me just under a year to do, which was a good bit of extra work while you're also working full time, but it was worth it. Got it done and it was well worth it.
And then your first sale here in Ireland then was the Arkle sale?
Yeah, got my results April last year. Did my CPD 2 weeks before, but CPD is very important. All the auctioneers need to do it. So that takes a day. Did that online. Got my CPD done 2 weeks before. Applied for my license. Then after that, got it kind of within another week, and was just licensed 2 weeks before the Arkle sale. And I was very lucky to get an opportunity.
You sold a lovely horse for Tom Howley, didn't you?
Yeah.
For nice money.
Yeah, it was the third lot I ever had here in Goffs. It was kind of, I didn't really expect it, but he was a lovely diamond boy out of a very good Cheltenham Festival from Mary Capsule. Didn't expect it, but kind of went down to see him, and thankfully Tom wasn't too nervous or wasn't too apprehensive when I came down to say I was selling him. He was kind of Tom's big horse of the week, and Tom was very supportive as well. But no, it was great result. It was a great buzz in the moment I'll never forget anyway.
A trainer having a winner on a big day, or maybe even a small day, a jockey riding those big winners, is the adrenaline rush for you selling those big expensive horses?
Definitely, yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Even at the Premier sale, it was my first yearling sale a few weeks ago in Doncaster, and I had some really nice yearlings to sell for the likes of Tadhg Dooley that made some really nice prices, and you get a great buzz out of it. And you also it's very satisfying as well, because you see the vendor is so happy. So that's always a good day.
To go back to the auctioneer part of it, when you're starting out, and the practice, it must be fairly intense, especially maybe in a room with someone by themselves. It's a nervous enough process, I'd imagine, practicing it.
Yeah, it is. Kind of the best way I've found to practice was in the car when you're just by yourself. You're driving down, you kind of practice. You have, maybe you could just think of a lot or think of a horse and just practice selling that horse.
Okay.
Practice getting in the rhythm of bidding and taking bids, and then also even at the moment, I'm trying to practice my finish and how I'm finishing it. I suppose you're always trying to practice and you're always trying to improve.
I have a little dark secret of my own, that I'm a big fan of Antique Roadshow. Right? I love watching it. So would you be confident going in whether flog a car, flog an antique, or flog a horse, or is there a huge difference between them all?
I honestly don't know. I don't know much about it, but I think I could try it, but I don't think I'd be confident, because I'd like to know enough about what I'm doing. I think it's important to research anything you're selling, so you know it, and you also know where to throw in little bits and pieces about it. Especially if you're doing horses here, it's nice to be able to know 2 weeks beforehand, so you can give yourself plenty of preparation. And it's important to prepare well for it, because when you're selling them, it might be someone's only opportunity to sell their yearling that year, and it's you want to do the best you can for them, because they might not get an opportunity to sell it, and it could be their bread and butter for the year. That
was actually going to be my next question, is you have a couple of weeks when the book is done, you know which horses you're going to be covering, so it's so important when them horses arrive here that you go out, get a look at them, get a feel for the vendor and the horse.
Absolutely, yeah. It's important to look at them as well, so you'll know that you'll know they're good things to say about them as well. But it's also important to meet the vendor and chat to him, and get to know them. Sometimes you might not know the vendor, you might not have met him before or her, So it's nice to go down and meet them. It's always good to meet new people as well. And then you kind of chat to them and you get to know people as well very quickly. And then you always try and go down maybe the day of the selling. If you see it the day before, it's kind of good to go down maybe a few hours before and to see how they're getting on, see how they're feeling, and see where they are.
So that's a good excuse to be playing golf throughout the summer then, is it? To meet these people.
Yeah, exactly. Sure, we made some good contacts this year. Great to meet some new people this year when we were playing golf together, and we met plenty of new people along the way.
And then obviously going to the races, then you see you're at Champions Weekend both days. That's important too.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. You have to get out there and meet new people, and it's a great way to get meet people in the game as well. Whether you're racing or you're Dublin Horse, you meet more people than you meet in the race meeting nearly up there. But kind of that's a great way to get to meet people you haven't met before.
Do you have a preference, National Hunt or Flat?
National Hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And pedigrees, obviously you have to do quite a lot of work for that, but are you one for who does that extra bit of work, or just do what you have to do?
No, you're always learning. I don't think you're ever not going to be learning, especially about pedigrees. They're always changing. But I do like pedigrees. I do like researching, but I also like racing and form and everything like that. I'm a big fan of that.
The auctioneering side of it then, is it something that you try and, obviously you learn the basics, you try and keep improving, but do you pick up and find your own style? Everyone has a different way.
Yeah, I think it's important to find your own style. I don't think there's no way anyone could copy Nick or Andrew or any. They all have their own styles. They're all very, very different to everyone. But I think it's very important to have your own style. And Nick has always emphasised that to me as well, that it is important to have your own style.
But even though having your own style, you can still always keep learning from those as well.
Of course, yeah, you can try. You're always trying to pick up bits, whether from any auctioneer. But I think it is important though to be always kind of watching them, and they've been at it so long and they're the best at the game and the best in the game at it.
What's the hardest part for you when you're standing up there?
The hardest part, sometimes when you've a nice horse and maybe they're not really kind of selling as well as you expected, and then you're kind of thinking, God, am I letting the vendor down here? But I think that can be the hardest thing, when you know you've a nice horse but it's just not selling as well as it should be.
Okay, good. Well, Tadhg, I know I told you at the Arc, and I'm not saying it because you're a friend or on camera, but I think you took to it like a duck to water. You're magnificent at it, and no doubt you're only going to keep improving. And thanks for talking to me today, and best of luck over the next couple of days.
Thanks so much, Davey. Good to chat.